Up next on The Shield, VUTV spoke with Trevor Richardson and Trace Ostergren, the incoming Student Senate executives, about the recent elections.
I'm really grateful and really excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'd like to thank the student body again for taking your obligation and going out there and voting for your student body vice president.
Also, hundreds of elementary school students filled the Union ballrooms to explore the science of meteorology.
And the men's and women's choir delivered a superb performance in the VUCA last Sunday.
You're watching The Shield here on VUTV. I'm Lynette Grant.
And I'm Dave Caulfield. Also coming up on the program, relatives and friends of the victims of the Fort Hood shooting speak out about their loved ones.
And the search crews have discovered a signal pulse in the southern Indian Ocean. Could this be a breakthrough in the search for the Malaysian Flight 370?
I'm Parker Gatewood. Coming up in sports, after kind of a rough start to both of their seasons, the baseball and softball teams had 3 games over the weekend. I'll tell you if they improved their seasons coming up next.
And I'm meteorologist Rachel Dunsing. We're going to have some April showers make their way back into the area, and with that, we're going to be experiencing a warm-up as well. Unfortunately, we're going to be experiencing a rainy weekend as well. I'll have the full details coming up in my full forecast. This edition of The Shield starts right now.
Thank you for joining us for The Shield here on Channel 82. The student elections are now finished, and we can announce that Trevor Richardson and Trace Ostergren will be the new president and vice president of the 2014-2015 Valparaiso University Student Senate.
VUTV News correspondent Brendan Johnson was able to speak to both Trevor and Trace about the election and their hopes for their time in office.
Well, I'm more humbled by the experience because obviously, in the end, I was unopposed. I had an opponent, and then I didn't. So obviously, there were students who supported Justin. So I have to take that into account and realize, how blessed I am, to be here in this position, because I was not, chosen by a majority of students. I was chosen because I was the only candidate running in the end.
I'm looking forward to us becoming a team, really strong team, very obvious team on campus, letting our presence known in Senate and throughout the organizations on campus. Through my campaign, I ran on a platform. It's had some objectives and some missions laid out for what I personally would want to see changed and implemented on campus. I'm looking forward to working with Trevor on some of those things, and I believe he's also in agreement with me on what can be done and implemented on campus, so that's a good thing. I think the Valparaiso student body has a lot to look forward to with the T-squared team. And
I like that.
and I'm pretty excited. So.
Yeah.
If you could take us through some of the goals that you have in plan for your time in office next year. I don't know, Trevor, if you want to start us off on that.
Yeah, sure. I definitely, looking back now after being vice president for a year, you get caught up in a lot of the kind of technical Senate workings when you have the best laid plans to do a lot of things. So now kind of stepping away from it, and now as president I have sort of the role, to focus more on the outward role of Senate versus the internal workings that I did as vice president. So I sort of have this kind of two-pronged approach that I'm looking to start this next year. One is focusing more on Senate student interaction, student body interaction, and then the other is Senate's visibility and the image that the organization presents.
And I know, Trevor, you've been working with Alex, and Trace, you've been working with Justin, those kind of relationships. What can we expect for next year? You guys working together as executives with the entire executive team and Student Senate itself?
Well, the student body spoke. We obviously had 2 different running mates going into this, but we knew that this could obviously happen in the end. There's no animosity, I don't believe, on any end. I spoke with Trace, and Justin, and let them know, I don't hold any hard feelings or anything. It's the process, and that's who the student body felt was best for the position and to represent them. So I need to say, okay, and work with that and find out how best we can work together to make things good going into the future. I like working with anyone, so I'm not too worried, so I think it's going to be a great job. We've interacted couple times already, and we've gotten along pretty well. So, I mean, I don't see any problems going into the future.
Yeah, Trace?
Not at all. I'm excited about it. Just like Trevor, I work well with others, and I believe our goals are very much overlapping.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in for this interview. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you, especially here at VUTV.
The lobby at the Valparaiso University Center for the Arts was packed for a performance from the men's and women's choir. The 5th annual spring concert provided audience members with a wide variety of music, ranging from upbeat rhythms, songs of worship, and jazz pieces. Choir students also had the opportunity to perform solo or small group performances for the crowd. If you happen to miss this concert this past Sunday, you have another opportunity to hear these two choirs at the Palm Sunday service this coming Sunday morning at 10 a.m. at the Chapel of the Resurrection.
Hundreds of elementary school children from the Porter County area toured the Union Ballrooms last Monday to see what the science of meteorology was all about at Met Field Day. From working on the green screen to learning about weather balloon launches, these students were given the chance to see how Valpo students observe and study the weather firsthand. The program was sponsored by our own meteorology department and was supported by the various Met organizations including VUSIT, AMS, NWA, and Chi Epsilon Pi.
Coming up after the break, we have a look at national headlines. Stay tuned to The Shield here on Channel 82. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Shield. Topping national news, investigators now say that the deadly shooting at Fort Hood in Texas is related to the shooter's request for leave. In the aftermath of the Fort Hood shooting, relatives and loved ones of the victims have come forward sharing their stories. John Berman has the story.
Sergeant First Class Danny Ferguson is being remembered as a hero, sacrificing his life to protect a room full of others, using his own body as a barricade in front of a door to keep the gunman out. His fiancée, Kristen Haley, was nearby when the gunfire erupted.
He held that door shut because there's no locks. If he was not being the one against that door holding it, that shooter would have been able to get through and shoot everyone else.
A talented athlete, friends say he was destined for greatness. Ferguson had just returned from a tour in Afghanistan. His fiancée says he died doing what he loved, serving his country.
He did have a pleasure of serving. Like, this was his life, and he was so proud to be a part of such a great service.
A counselor and father of two, Sergeant Timothy Owens just signed up for another 6 years in the Army. Recently remarried, the 37-year-old dedicated his life to helping fellow soldiers. His mother tried calling her son when she heard about the shooting.
He didn't answer the phone, so I left a message on his phone. Son, call me so I know if you're okay or not. Well, never got no call from him. I thought, oh God, please don't let it be.
And Sergeant Carlos Lazani Rodriguez enlisted as soon as he could, at age 18. Described as a caring leader, the native Puerto Rican had a 20-year career in the Army. He planned to retire at the end of this year. Among the 16 wounded, Sergeant Jonathan Westbrook, a former bank teller and dedicated father of 3 from Mississippi who joined the Army 3 years ago. Westbrook worked in the office where the shooting began. He was hit by 3 bullets in his chest and one of his arms. And New York State native Major Patrick Miller is in stable condition after 2 surgeries. The 2-time combat veteran also has master's degrees in business and public administration from Syracuse University. Friends call him the glue that keeps them together.
Obviously, this is a wound on his belt, but he'll move on.
Move on, but never forget. John Berman, CNN, New York.
After a slow winter, the U.S. job market seems to have come about during the spring. 192,000 jobs were added last month, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. All of the new jobs created are in the private sector, and this means that the non-governmental job market is back to its peak before the financial crisis. Even with these large gains, the unemployment rate still stands at 6.7%. Even so, the newly released report gave Wall Street a boost, as both the Dow and the S&P 500 opened at record highs last Friday. Here's what Representative Nancy Pelosi had to say.
Well, I think 190,000 jobs is a good job report. We want more, but I would have to note that today we have replaced all of the jobs lost under the Bush economic policies and the recession that took us into. It's taken this long to build back from that.
A breakthrough may have been made in the search for Malaysia Flight 370. Andrew Spencer reports on what search crews have found in the Indian Ocean.
Officials wanted to make one thing very clear.
We haven't found the aircraft yet.
But after more than a month of searching for missing Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, officials have their most promising lead yet. Crews dragging a pinger locator underwater picked up signs of what could be an emergency beacon.
2 separate signal detections have occurred within the northern part of the defined search area. The first detection was held for approximately 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Officials say those signals are consistent with what would be emitted from a plane's flight recorders. The bad news, any kind of confirmation could take days, and the batteries on the beacons are running out of juice.
So we're already 1 day past the advertised shelf life. We hope that it keeps going for a little bit longer.
Crews can't just follow the noise right back to the source either. It's a little more complicated than that.
Unlike in air, where sound travels in a straight line, acoustic energy, sound through the water, is greatly affected by temperature, pressure and salinity, and that has the effect of attenuating, bending, sometimes through 90 degrees, sound waves.
While locating the wreckage is the ultimate key to understanding what happened to Flight 370, investigators are still looking through other information for answers. A senior government source in Malaysia told CNN Sunday the flight may have taken a route around Indonesian airspace, suggesting the route may have been designed to avoid detection by radar. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
After using donated funds to help build his $2.2 million mansion, a Georgia archbishop will soon vacate the property. Catholic Archbishop Wilton Gregory will be moving out of his home after receiving backlash from parishioners. On Saturday, he met with several church councils and apologized for using donated funds to build the home. He plans to move into another church property in May. The mansion will be sold with proceeds benefiting the Catholic community.
And no one is familiar with the term mumimo, but it could become a common phrase, especially for those of us who use Wi-Fi. The maker of this technology, Qualcomm, says it could triple Wi-Fi speeds in homes, offices, and on public servers. It has been deemed as the HOV lane for internet users. Qualcomm plans to sell its Mumimo-enabled chips to companies producing wireless routers, smartphones, tablets, and other electronics. Mumimo-enhanced technology is expected to come on the market early next year. Coming up after the break, Storm Shield meteorologist Rachel Dunsing brings us the full weather forecast. And Shield sports reporter Parker Gatewood has an update on the latest in Crusader athletics. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
Well, I know it really hasn't felt like April over the past couple of days, but the good news is we're going to be experiencing some above average temperatures over the next couple of days. But unfortunately, it is going to be feeling like April with the temperatures, but also because of the rain showers are also going to be making its way into our area. Actually, for a couple of days, unfortunately, they're going to be sticking around. But unfortunately, we're going to be experiencing yet another cool down. We just cannot get away from this cool weather just yet. So we're going to have to deal with this pattern for just a little while longer. Forecast temperatures for tomorrow, 67 degrees for that high temperature, almost 10 degrees above average. So definitely something we haven't seen in a while. We've been struggling to get to those average temperatures. So nice to see something above average for a while. And once again, above average in the way of low temperature. Overnight forecasted low of 41 degrees. The average low temperature is 37. Nowhere near those record temperatures. The high temperature record, 83 degrees, set back only 3 years ago in 2011. And nowhere near that record low temperature of 20 degrees set back in 2007. Something we are going to have to pay attention to over the next couple of days, and especially as we head into tomorrow, is this warm air out to the west. You can see it pushing its way into the area, definitely making its presence known in the plains. The good news is it's going to be making its way towards our area as well. You can see these temperatures a little bit warmer, 48 degrees in Davenport, 51 degrees in Sioux Falls, 57 degrees in North Platte, Nebraska. And now watch it as it moves into the Valpo area, pushing our temperatures up near 70 degrees in the mid to upper 60s, 66 degrees here in Valparaiso. Look at this, 70 degrees in St. Louis and 79 degrees in Dodge City, Kansas. Definitely something that we've been happy to see, but unfortunately not going to last for very long. Some more cooler air pushes in, 44 degrees for your Friday morning. Any early classes definitely know you may need a light jacket. Warming up again slightly, very close to 60 degrees. So not above average, but very close to that average temperature, 59 degrees. So definitely something we're very happy about. Before tonight, 43 degrees, mostly clear conditions, and that is actually going to keep us a little bit on the cool side with that 43 degrees. But we also have these southwest winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and that is going to continue to warm us up as we head into tomorrow. Once again, 67 degrees above average for that high temperature. Definitely a bit of a welcome sight. Unfortunately, with it though comes a few showers, so we're going to have to pay attention to that. Maybe bring an umbrella with you or maybe a jacket with a hood just in case. And those southwest winds continue to warm us up at 15-20 miles per hour. It will be a bit breezy though, and those breezy conditions are going to remain around as we head into Friday as well, because a cold front made its way through the area. It's actually going to drop our temperatures down, not quite significantly, but enough that you're going to notice. 57 degrees for that high temperature on Friday. And then once again, another warm up on Saturday, 67 degrees, very warm, very slight chance of rain, but the biggest chance of rain is going to be coming in Sunday, 63 degrees. And there you see that next cold front, 42 degrees for the high temperature on Monday, with rain chances sticking around. Nearly a 20-degree difference from the high temperature on Sunday to the high temperature on Monday. I am not happy about that.
I'm not happy about that either. However, we do have those warmer temperatures though.
We do. We have the warmer temperatures coming in next couple of days. Unfortunately, a bit of rain with it, but I'll take the rain with the warmer temperatures.
Exactly. If you just cover up Monday, it seems really, really good.
That's true. If you can just the rest of the weekend, Palm Sunday is on Sunday, maybe chances of showers here and there. Bring a light jacket, but then Monday is just not fun at all.
It'll be like we're under real palms on Palm Sunday with
yeah,
the
for sure.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Coming up after the break, Parker Gatewood joins us with the latest in everything Valpo athletics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hi everybody, I'm Dick Vitale of ESPN, and I'm on VUTV. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
And now with the latest in Crusader athletics, Shield sports reporter Parker Gatewood joins us in the studio. Parker?
Well, thanks, guys. You know, success was abounding for the Crusaders on the diamond this past weekend. Both teams had a 3-game series in Horizon League play, and the baseball team's loss on Sunday was the only Crusader loss of the weekend. And with that, let's start with baseball. The guys had a heck of a weekend as they went up against Wright State that was undefeated going into conference play on that Saturday. In Game 1, Cole Webb picked up his 4th win of the season as Valpo came away with the 3-1 victory. Webb pitched 7 innings, only giving up 1 run and struck out 5 in the process. And outfielder Michael Moorman went 1 for 2 with an RBI and scored a run for himself. And the Crusaders would carry that momentum from Game 1 into Game 2 as they had their tail end of the doubleheader on that same Saturday. Once again, we saw pitching at its finest as Dalton Lundeen did not give up a single run in 7 strong innings and managed to get 6 Ks to go with it. Lundeen improved to 2-2 on the year, and the Crusaders improved to 3-2 in Horizon League play as they defeated the Raiders by the score of 2-0. Spencer Mahoney carried the offensive load for the Crusaders, going 1 for 3 at the plate, scoring a run, and batting a run in as well. Now, you would think that with a 2-0 series lead and all the momentum heading into Sunday, the Crusaders would be able to finish off the weekend strong and with another win. But that was not the case. Wright State proved to be too much for Valpo as they took Game 3 by the final score of 4-2. The Raiders' Sean Murphy had a strong outing as he went 2 for 3 with 2 walks and 1 RBI and 1 run scored. The women's softball team also took to the red dirt this weekend as they had a 3-game series against a Detroit team that only had 3 wins on the season. The theme for this Crusaders team was complete dominance, and that started in Game 1. Valpo took the first contest by the score of 6-0 with Taylor Weisenhofer pitching a complete game shutout in which she only allowed 2 hits. Caitlin Ranieri had a phenomenal game as well, going 4 for 4 at the plate with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. And then you go over to Game 2, and in Game 2, the Crusaders didn't even need the full 7 innings to down the Titans as they triumphed once again, this time by the final score of 9-0. Sierra Pico picked up her 2nd win of the year after going 5 innings, striking out 6, and pitching a 2-hitter of her own. Amanda Wisniewski went 1 for 3 with a 2-run bomb that led the Crusaders to the win. And finally, in Sunday's game, we would see much of the same that was seen in Game 2. The Crusaders would finish things off in 5 once again with Molly Lindemann pitching every inning and not allowing a single run. Caitlin Ranieri would be the star from the plate yet again on Sunday as well. She went 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs as the Crusaders marched to a 8-0 victory. For all things Valpo Athletics, remember to stay connected at valpoathletics.com. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Parker. After the break, Storm Shield meteorologist Rachel Dunsing will have a final look at your Valpo weather forecast. Stick with us.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
And joining us here in the studio is Storm Shield meteorologist Rachel Dunsing with a final look at your Valpo weather forecast. And Rachel, I look at the 5-day, I see upper 60s, and I'm really happy. and I see lower 40s, and I get really sad. Does that mean I average out in the middle somewhere?
Well, it just kind of depends. Unfortunately, with those upper 60s, we're going to be experiencing some rainfall as well. But we are going to be experiencing some 40s even as we head into overnight. Tonight, 43 degrees, mostly clear. Those southwest winds are actually going to continue to warm us up as we head into tomorrow, 67 degrees. So there's your upper 60s, Dave. But unfortunately, you have a few showers coming in with that as well. And then taking a look at the rest of the 5-day forecast, a little bit closer to normal on Friday, around 57 degrees. But unfortunately, with the warming temperatures, we're going to have rain chances as well. Palm Sunday, a few showers coming in here and there, but 63 degrees. And then Monday, that's where you get very sad, Dave. And I know I'm very sad as well. Rain, 42 degrees for that high temperature. I am not happy about it, but it's April. I guess you just kind of have to take it as it comes.
Hey, but April showers bring May flowers, right?
I guess that's true, but I'm kind of waiting for these flowers to pop up because it seems like we're going to be experiencing a lot of rain.
Do May flowers bring June trees? Is that like the rest of that phrase?
You know what? We'll make it work.
All right.
We'll make it work, Dave.
All right. Thank you, Rachel. And that will conclude this edition of The Shield. I'm Lynette Grant.
And I'm Dave Caulfield. To keep tabs on all the latest weather, news, and sports, log on to youtube.com/ValpoVUTV. Follow us on Twitter @ValpoVUTV, and be sure to like us on Facebook. For Rachel Dunsing, Parker Gatewood, and all of us here at VUTV, have a great rest of the week.
Thank you.